Jobs and occupations. Miner. The miners went on strike to try to save jobs. Flight attendant. He decides to train to be a flight attendant instead. Electrician. The electrician has diagnosed a fault in the wiring. Doctor. You should see a doctor about that cough. Businessman. She watched the businessmen walk past in their pinstripes. Painter. How do you make a living as a painter? Lifeguard. During the summer, my father worked as a lifeguard. Paramedic. When he fell, the local paramedics came to get him. Dentist. The dentist scaled and polished my teeth last week. Magician. Western magicians were forced to respond to this new market. Clown. Doesn't the clown look funny? Nurse. The nurse will take your blood pressure in a moment. Housekeeper. You're really a cleaner, a housekeeper. Gardener. These young trees were carefully nursed by the head gardener. Surgeon. The surgeon makes a small incision into which a tube is inserted. Doorman. Doormen catch many fake ID holders. Secretary. She is a competent secretary. Soldier. The mission of the soldiers is to defend the country. Scientist. There are scientists who say that the results of the research are flawed. Footballer. He was a very good footballer. Forest ranger. The first forest rangers were hired and trained to support it. Bricklayer. A bricklayer will offer to build a wall or a house. Farmer. He is a beef cattle farmer. Optician. Her youngest daughter is an optician. Photographer. He's a professional photographer. Reporter. The reporters wouldn't stop hounding her. Police officer. He was stopped by a police officer. Waiter. The waiter handed me the menu with a flourish. Professor. A professor of sociology. Artist. The artist painted this picture using tiny brushstrokes. Postman. The postman left this package with me because you were out. Pilot. A helicopter pilot. Fireman. The fireman evacuated the guests from the burning hotel. Engineer. He started his working life as an engineer but later became a teacher. Architect. She is a highly recommended architect. Actress. She's the highest paid actress in Hollywood. Barber. He used to work as a barber. Mechanic. At that time she was just a humble mechanic. Astronaut. I spoke about an all-white male astronaut corp. Babysitter. I promised the babysitter that we'd be home by midnight. Barista. A worker in an espresso bar is referred to as a barista. Beautician. She is employed as a beautician at a funeral home. Cashier. He was convicted and sentenced to be cashiered. Bellboy. He works with a bellboy until he injures his spine doing judo. Bodyguard. The prince is always accompanied by his bodyguards. Butcher. Our local butcher is closing down. Man detective. The detective on the case has been suspended from duty. Bus driver. He worked as a New York City bus driver. Delivery. A delivery van. Florist. The high street comprises many local shops such as greengrocers and florists. Gas station attendant. His first job was as a gas station attendant. Ballet dancer. She was a ballet dancer. Judge. The judge reminded the witness that she was under oath. Lawyer. She's hired a lawyer who specializes in divorce cases. Midwife. She was considered the protectress of pregnant women and a midwife. Model. She is a fashion model. Plumber. The plumber came to mend the burst pipe. Street vendor. He worked as a street vendor for some time. Pharmacist. Always check with your doctor or pharmacist when taking medications. Psychologist. She spent 15 years as a clinical psychologist. Sailor. He was a young sailor on his first sea voyage. Sculptor. The sculptor supervised the placement of his newest sculpture in the garden. Singer. The famous singer is coming to our city. Welder. He left school at 15 to become an apprentice to a welder. Tailor. You must only find a talented dressmaker or tailor. Taxi driver. He toils as an unlicensed taxi driver at night. Teacher. My son's never been in trouble with his teachers before. Tour guide. Our tour guide showed us around the old town. Train driver. The train driver observes the trackside signals. Veterinarian. I always wanted to be a veterinarian. Chef. A couple of the kitchen staff are on holiday, so I'm having to be chef tonight. Writer. Two writers collaborated on the script for the film.